Watertown Police Chief Ed Deveau. Chief, thanks for being with us this evening. You must be exhausted.
I'm pretty tired, Judge.
All right, let me start where that piece just ended. Sean Collier is shot on the MIT campus at about 10:20. At about the same time, there's an armed carjacking. When do the gunshots and explosions in Watertown start?
They start about approximately 12:25 a.m.
All right, and what is the first thing that you hear about? I mean, do you get calls? How do you know that there are gunshots?
Well, we know that, myself personally, I'd like to just tell the officers' story. They were out on the street, and we knew there was the execution of the MIT police officer. We knew there was a carjacking, and then we, as a result of that vehicle, we had GPS updates from Cambridge telling us where that vehicle was. Our officers were alerted that it was heading towards Watertown, and then actually was in Watertown. And that's when our officers began to go into the east end of Watertown to try to find that vehicle.
Okay, and were your officers alone at that time, or were you assisted by, the FBI, ATF, and all of these other police agencies, state police who had joined the hunt?
Well, all the agencies were being given the same updates we were, so there was a lot of law enforcement in the area, in the greater Boston area, in Boston, in Cambridge. But it was our officers that encountered that vehicle first, and then the other officers started to respond in behind us.
Okay, and when they encountered that vehicle, Chief, tell us exactly what happened.
Our first officer, Officer Joe Reynolds, saw the black Mercedes SUV, the carjacking vehicle, traveling along Laurel Street, which is a back street in Watertown, along with the second vehicle. They were driving in tandem. The two brothers, each one was driving one of the vehicles. He started to follow behind them and radioed our dispatch, who properly, our supervisor told him, do not try to stop that vehicle till we get significantly more backup. He followed them just a short distance. When they stopped, both of the brothers got out of the car and immediately started engaged shooting at my police officer as he was in his cruiser.
Okay, and what happened to that officer?
Well, miraculously, he's alive to tell the story.
Okay.
He took a lot of gunfire. He's level-headed. He just did a courageous act and was able to have the ability to put that vehicle in reverse and create some distance between him and the two brothers that were shooting at him.
Well, there's no question, Chief, that he is one of the many heroes, the law enforcement heroes in this case. So, at the same time, go ahead.
2, 3 other on-duty police officers show up within seconds, and they also join the gunfight that starts on the street.
So both of the brothers are out of the car, and they are shooting. Do they have long guns? What do they have?
We have reports they had both. They had long guns, they had handguns, and my understanding is they were at different times during this gun battle, which went on for close to 10 minutes. They used all of those weapons.
Okay, so if the gun battle goes on for 10 minutes, at some point the older brother Tamerlan starts, as I understand it, coming down the street, guns a-blazing, almost as though he knows he's going to get shot. What was that about?
Well, a lot happened before that, Judge. If I could just so we have the 3 of my 4 officers. We had 2 off-duty officers show up. So I had 6, 7 Watertown police officers, and then slowly all the surrounding areas started to come in. During this gun battle, it was my 6 or 7 officers that were heroic during their efforts. But at the same time, at some point, they popped the trunk of one of those vehicles and started hurling. The first came over and it exploded. Which I understand was about the same explosion as what happened at the Boston Marathon. It was a pressure cooker bomb. We found the pressure cooker lid embedded in a car further down the street.
Wow, they were prepared.
So we have this gun battle going on, and my officers are taking not only fire, but now they're taking explosives being thrown at them. And I just can't say how proud I am of the men and women of the police department of Watertown the job they did that night. It's just incredible.
There's no question, Chief. There's no question. These people are heroes, without a doubt. They put their lives on the line every day. Let me try to, focus on what happens when the older brother gets out or starts coming down the street.
Sure. We've had 6 explosives thrown at our offices. At some point, he starts to close in. He wants to get closer, and he wants to kill one of my police officers. He comes right at him, and now they're exchanging gunfire, and they're within about 10 feet, is my understanding of each other. And my officer has made some hits in his midsection, but he's still coming. Fortunately for us, the brother ran out of ammunition, and we were able to tackle him, throw him to the ground, and 3 of my officers were in the middle of the street handcuffing him, and so we had him in custody.
He's down. Then what happens?
He's down. They're trying to tend to him, and Judge, I'm sure you can understand, they have very difficult time hearing now with 3, 4, 5 explosions going off around them, and all of a sudden they realize by the bright lights that somebody's coming bearing down them. They look up and somebody else, I'll get out of the way, and thank God they could hear that. And they had to dive out of the way as here comes the other brother in the black SUV roaring down the street.
And what happens? What does the other brother do?
He gets out of the way. Our officers fortunately get out of the way. The older brother's laying in the street, and the younger brother runs him over.
Okay. Now, the 19-year-old younger brother who runs over Tamerlan then gets away. How does a 19-year-old get away, Chief? Because it's a 10-minute gunfight. He got away. Was there a chase after him or no?
Well, we had that gun battle, and then he gets dragged down. He drags his brother down the street a short distance, and then he keeps going. Well, what happened next was the transit police, the state police, and some other agencies were behind us, and one of the transit had been shot, we realized, just as this all was going on. He gets shot in the groin, hits an artery. He is starting to bleed out. Our officers went to his aid, and Officer Timmy Menton of our department, who's a medic, started to give him aid, and fortunately was able to stop the bleeding. The Watertown Fire Department rescue got in there.
Thank God, but Chief, I'm running out of time here. Chief, I'm running out of time, and I don't mean to not want to go through all of these great heroes, but is there a car chase of the 19-year-old? He's taken off.
Well, right. He only goes down, Judge, about 300 yards, and there's so many vehicles, so many law enforcement responding. He can hear the lights. He can see the lights. He can hear the sirens.
I'm coming up against a break. He gets out of the car and he runs.
Right.
Is anybody chasing him?
He runs into a backyard. Well, we're in pursuit of him. He runs into a backyard into the darkness. Now it's close to 12:45 in darkness. We lose sight of him at that point in this neighborhood.
All right, Chief. Thank you so much for being with us, and we all thank you and your department for the great work that they did. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Coming up, the September 11 terrorists were in this country on